Hello guys, my name's Claire and this is my story. Unfortunately, my piece is about the obnoxious in-laws and husband that I have. I'm still in the process of getting a divorce, but thought of sharing the story with you. If you are constantly getting berated by your in-laws for no reason, this story will give you some nice ideas. Me and my husband, Zane, met through a dating site. I was in college back then and only 19 years old. Zane was 25 and had a pretty stable job for himself. Despite the age difference, me and Zane fell in love with each other. I'm not someone who judges people for their age or appearance. So Zane's age never became a problem for me. Zane did have a lot of issues with the age difference. He kept saying, "Why are you with me, Claire? I just don't understand. I'm so much older than you. You can do much better and get guys your age, you know." "Yes, I can get boys my age, but I don't want them. You are the one I fell in love with. I don't care if you're older than me." There has to be other reasons, Claire. It's not natural for girls like you to love someone like me. I wish you would tell me the truth. "I am telling you the truth, Zane. I don't want to date immature boys my age. I am in love with you and I don't care about anything else." Zane never believed my words. I could detect that he had some self-esteem issues and perhaps that's why he was still single. So I was determined to prove myself wrong and show him just how much I love him. Throughout our entire relationship, I never let Zane spend money on me. I was not a broke college student, but didn't have a lot either. Still, I bought him gifts and paid for my meal every time. I had a small job, so it wasn't like I was penniless. I could tell that Zane appreciated those gestures. Sadly for me, Zane never changed. He continued to have a very low self-esteem and refused to believe that I loved him for real. I tried my best to be supportive and understanding. However, his suspicions of my love always broke my heart. For the first 2 years, I had no idea why he had such a low esteem for himself. But when I met his parents, it became very clear. Zane's dad, Michael, was a hard-working guy. However, he once got lucky and won the lottery. That changed his life forever. He bought an expensive house and moved from the rented apartment they lived in. The rest of the money they put in an account so they can be comfortable for the rest of their life. However, there was one problem. Michael and his wife Molly always thought that they were better than everyone else. On our first meeting, he said, "You know, not everyone can make it big like me. I was a hard-working man and look where it got me. Do you know how uncommon it is to win a huge lottery? The chances are very low, but I did it on the first try." We always knew how to make good decisions. Not everyone has those qualities. Look at Zane. I mean, he did complete college and all, but he will never have money like us. "He couldn't even get a girlfriend before we won the lottery. I guess most of his partners did have gold-digging personalities." I'm sure they did. They left as soon as we accused them of being greedy. We were right about them. Somehow, Zane still keeps making the wrong choices. Molly and Michael's attitude towards Zane made my blood boil. They directly insinuated that every girl Zane dated was with him for money. Somehow, after years of hearing this, Zane started to believe it as well. At that point, it was clear to me why Zane was so insecure. The fact that Molly and Michael also hinted at me being a gold digger was humiliating for me as well. I decided that I needed to speak up for him and myself. I said, "I am sorry, but I have to disagree with you on that. Zane had worked hard to establish himself at his job. With time, he will become even more successful." "Well, that doesn't change the fact that women only want him for money. The money we have is ours, but Zane does co-own the house. Ultimately, it will be his when we pass. Let me tell you, Every time they see our $200,000 house, I swear these girls see dollar signs in their eyes. I'm not sure about his exes, but I'm not with him for money. I love your son, and that's why we're dating. I want nothing to do with your house. Don't worry, Claire. Sometimes it's hard to accept that people can be successful and live in nice houses. You only live in a small rented apartment, that too with roommates. After being around our house for a while, you will start wanting it too. It's just about time. I was getting even more furious with what Michael and Molly said. To be honest, I was ready to burst from anger. Zane noticed and heard everything but didn't talk back. He didn't even defend himself. Instead, he simply steered the conversation in another direction. I was a little shocked by his nonchalance, so when we were going home, I decided to confront him. I said, Zane, your parents are very mean people. They keep insulting both you and me. Why didn't you speak up? What did you want me to say, Claire? I'm not sure they are off the mark. Women in the past have used me to try and get some money from my parents. Mostly, they made elaborate plans with the house and how it would be all ours when my parents passed away. Even if they were gold diggers doesn't mean I'm one too. You said nothing when your family insulted me as well. You know that my family is now well off, so there is a possibility that they're right about everything. I'm not saying you had bad intentions for sure, but I can see why it looks weird. You don't even have parents, so you have to rely on my inheritance alone. What you are insisting is bizarre, Zane. I have never made you spend money on me. And even if I don't have an inheritance, that doesn't mean you can call me a gold digger. Zane still refused to acknowledge my words. He kept saying that he loves me and it doesn't matter why I'm with him. While most people would be satisfied with this, I wasn't. I didn't want him to think so badly of me. I tried to talk to him and make him understand. I even suggested therapy because I knew he needed it. However, he said there was nothing wrong with him, so I gave up. However, I distanced myself from his family. Years passed and we got engaged right after I graduated from college. I was working a decent job that didn't pay a lot, but well enough. I started to save so that I could contribute money towards our wedding. We split the wedding costs 50-50 and got married when I was 22. However, the next 3 years of my life were hell. Zane constantly went over to his parents' place and then came home in a sour mood. I knew that Michael and Molly were still making fun of him and calling me a gold digger. I tried to convince Zane to go low contact. I knew they were poisoning him against me. But Zane never listened to me. He kept speaking to them and accepting their words that no one can love him. Even after years of loving him and caring for him, he was suspicious of me. Slowly, I was getting exhausted proving myself to him. But I didn't have to do it for much longer. Things came crashing down on Zane's birthday. Since Zane didn't like huge celebrations, we had a small cake party at home just between us. Then I gave him an expensive watch that he had been wanting for a while. Zane was over the moon with the gift. I was so happy for him. But my excitement died down when he suggested going to his parents' house to show them the gift. I accompanied him because he insisted on it. When he reached their house, Zane immediately went to Molly and Michael to show them the gift. He said, "Mom, Dad, look at this beautiful watch that Claire gave me. I've been wanting this for a while now. Isn't this beautiful?" "Oh, did she know, Zane? Looks like she does love you after all. We were pretty worried for a while there." "Don't get so carried away, Michael. She's a gold digger and married our son because we own a $200,000 house. Let's not forget the facts." "Yes, that's right. I almost forgot that the house is the only reason why Claire married Zane." "Excuse me? Why do you think I married your son for your house?" "Well, you were just living in an apartment after working for 4 years. Besides, Zane is so much older than you. Why would you marry him unless you want something from him? I'm sure our house was always an attraction, if not his money. I married your son because I love him. All your theories about my gold digger personality are bullshit. Zane knows the truth and he will tell you just that, right, Zane? Well, to my utter astonishment, Zane never said a word. I was already starting to feel weirded out by the fact that my in-laws thought I was a gold digger, but Zane's reaction, or lack of reaction, was extremely shocking for me. He kept his head down and refused to look at me. I decided to press him a little. Honestly, I couldn't believe he wasn't protesting for me. I said, Zane, why are you not saying anything? Your parents always thought I was a gold digger. How will they know the real me if you don't tell them? Why are you quiet? Tell them they're wrong. I don't know what you want me to say, Claire. I don't know if my parents are off the mark. There might be a possibility that you are after this house. Are you serious right now? Zane, even you think I married you for your assets? He's not wrong to think like that. It is very suspicious that you never tried to buy a house. You don't even talk to him about buying a house. For someone who rents a place, buying a house should have been your priority. Yeah, it is your priority, but you decided not to work for a house. You saw that our house is an expensive one. You can't afford to buy a place like ours even if you try. So you decided to just marry Zane and settle here. That does make more sense to me. I mean, why will you marry me anyway, Claire? You might have feelings for me, but I think there's more to that than just love. I had no words to say after this. All my love for Zane was devalued into nothing. At the end of the day, my in-laws and even my husband considered me a gold digger. My in-laws' reaction didn't bother me as much as Zane's response. I was devastated. So on the spot, I made a decision. I wanted to file for divorce. I didn't tell them about my decision. I simply waited for the perfect time. So after me and Zane went to our place, I called a lawyer and told him that I wanted to file for divorce. He assured me that the papers would be ready within a week. I also decided to stay in a separate room for the time being. Zane didn't say anything because he thought I was letting off steam. He had no idea what was coming. When the divorce papers finally arrived at my parents' house, I packed my bags and left. When Zane called me in panic, I told him to come to an address and to bring my in-laws. I gave him the address since he had never been to my parents' house. He was confused, but agreed. When they arrived, I was waiting for them on the porch. They looked pretty dumbstruck by the house. I said, "You must be wondering why I brought you here. It's a beautiful house, isn't it?" "Beautiful? No one can even compare their house to this. God, this must cost in millions. This is a mansion." "That's right. It costs around $2 million in today's market. Pretty expensive, but worth the money. There is furniture too, with an added value of millions." "What is this place, Claire? I don't know why you have access to such a house." "Why don't you guys come in so that we can talk? I can't tell you everything on my porch." "What do you mean by your porch?" I ignored them and walked inside. They followed and were even more impressed by what they saw inside. Truly, the owners of the house spared no expense. When they sat down, I said, "I have come to a decision. That's why you're here. I filed for divorce. Here are the papers. We can agree to an uncontested divorce if you want." "What? I don't understand. Why did you file for a divorce?" "Because you and your parents think I'm a gold digger. You guys think I'm after your house, right? I can tell you that's not true, but you won't listen. So I will spare you guys from my gold-digging self and divorce Zane. That will make everyone happy." "You're considering divorce just because my parents told the truth? You're being ridiculous." "Yes, it's not like we said something wrong. Why do you need to do these theatrics?" "I think this is a good thing. Zane, if she's so insistent, You should sign the papers. At least then you'll find someone who loves you. Why did you bring us to this house? Do you want me to buy you this as part of our divorce settlement? Why would I buy this house, Zane? This house is already mine. The shock and disbelief on everyone's face was like a balm to my soul. They looked at me like I was joking. Zane and his family was very unconvinced. He said, "How the hell can you afford a house like this? You stay on rent and don't have a good enough job to afford this. Don't lie to us." I'm not lying, Zane. Remember how I told you that my parents left me some inheritance? Well, this is the house I talked about. It's under a trust now, but I will get the house once I turn 30. I don't work a good job because I have a trust fund waiting for me. That's impossible. Your parents died way back. There's no way they didn't let you get the house sooner. Well, you see, my parents were well aware of the leeches that I might attract, so they told me never to mention the house or trust fund to anyone. Call it experience, but they knew someone could exploit me, so they left everything to trust to keep it safe until I was 30. That way, I would be well settled with someone who I know won't benefit from my inheritance. Oh my God, Claire! You should have told us that you're rich. We had no idea. Damn, this is a big house you have got. We will all live so comfortably here. Yeah, you should have told me that sooner. We thought you were after our house. We could have avoided all the misunderstanding. I knew that Claire was perfect for Zane, see? I have been telling you that she is a great woman. Look how rich she is. Zane really found a great match. Hearing this, I laughed. They changed their stance about me so fast it made my head spin. What's more bizarre was that they soon forgot that I filed for divorce. I took out the divorce papers and gave my signature. Then I said, "As I was saying, here is my signature to an uncontested divorce. You can just sign these to make it easy. If you want to fight, we can take this up to court. I won't live with you anymore." Claire, listen to me. There's no need to rush this. You've already established that you're not a gold digger. Yeah, there's no reason to get a divorce anymore. We'll even apologize for any misunderstanding. That will make it better, won't it? Yes, Michael is right. We are sorry, Claire. We doubted you for no reason. I don't want your fake apologies. Zane, for 2 years you let your family berate me and call me a gold digger. I expected you to at least stand up for me. But no, you just agree with them and call me a gold digger as well. I don't want to stay with someone who doesn't even respect his wife. I'm done with you. We can do this the easy way or get the courts involved. The choice is yours. Zane, Molly, and Michael did their best to change my mind. They kept begging and pleading with me to forget the past. In their mind, what they did was just a simple misunderstanding. Not once did they seem remorseful that they dragged my name through the dirt. Their audacity had my blood boiling. When I finally had enough, I told them to get out before I called the police. My anger scared them off, so they left. In the next few weeks, Zane and my in-laws kept harassing me every day. They begged and pleaded and even offered me bribes to stay. These stupid people thought I would change my mind for money. This notion just showed me that they still thought I was after money. That made me even more enraged. The fun fact is, since Zane co-owned their house with the in-laws, I was also entitled to half of his share. That made them so desperate for reconciliation. I was firm in my decision to split. I moved all my things into my parents' house to live there. I would be alone, and even though I didn't have the ownership yet, I knew that I could stay there anyway. Zane and the in-laws kept reaching out to me until I got a new number entirely. I didn't want them spamming me from unknown numbers. Zane did come to my work to talk, however. The security who was informed about the situation asked him to leave. Zane still hasn't signed the papers, hoping to change my mind. It's been almost a year since I filed for divorce. I only have to go through another year or less before the courts deem it appropriate for us to get divorced. It will happen even if Zane doesn't want to stay. So far, I'm doing pretty well for myself. Since being alone, I've become quite happy and have more money to spend on myself. I'm going out on dates, but not considering anything serious. I heard from a cousin of Zane's that he and my in-laws are dreading buying me out of my entitled share of the house. Apparently, the lawyer fees were adding up and they didn't have much in savings. The cousin believes that they would have to sell the house to bring the money. Zane is also pushing for a sale because he is mad at his parents for ruining his life. I simply don't care anymore and just want to be free from that family.